pick. Wild card weekend is here. Everybody on the panel, everyone's team is in. That's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Must be some good luck. We're spreading along. Starting this thing out pretty. What word would I like to use right now? Starting this thing out quickly. We're gonna get straight to the lines. We're also going to talk a little, since we only have 6 games, we're probably going to be going a little bit more in depth. And then we got some draft at the back end.
I can't wait for the draft, Miles.
We got some teasers that we're going to be explaining. And it should be a different episode than usual. But let's start things out. Cincinnati is hosting the Oakland Raiders. This is a team that played each other at the beginning of the season. Bengals won, I believe, like 31-16 or something around that margin.
I'll look that up for you, Miles.
Oh, thank you so much. I'll get things popped off there. First things first, it's in Cincinnati. And the weather is going to be cold. It's going to be very, very cold. And this is something that the Bengals have been waiting for they wanted to get the playoffs so they can get that home field advantage so they can be playing at cold. And then you have the Raiders who have had the dome all year. So we'll see how they play outside. The Bengals could have practiced in Cincinnati's dome, but they like the University of Cincinnati College dome, but they decided to screw that. We're going to practice outside. We're going to get used to the cold. We're going to fall in love with it. So I think that's going to be a great advantage for the Bengals. An interesting stat, Isaiah Prince is going to be going against probably the best, and probably not the best, but even though he's played great and people know him, he's still very underrated. Max Crosby leads the league in QB pressures, but he only has 8 sacks. And that's strange. He has 100 QB pressures, but has only claimed 8 sacks, which, make that of what you will. We were able to, run away from him last time. He did get 1 sack. Bengals are 10-2 if there's no turnover, and Joe Burrow hasn't had a turnover in like 4 or 5 games. I don't know. Spread's at 5.5. I'm really trying to be as unbiased as possible. But looking at that Chargers games that the Raiders played, it showed me one thing. It showed me that their defense is unfortunately susceptible to get beaten by big plays. It's not necessarily a gradual thing down the field. Like the Chargers weren't really like methodically like moving the ball down the field. It was like a 4th down, big play, 4th down, big play, 4th down, big play. So it shows me that they have a good defense, but it also shows me that they're susceptible to the big play, which the Bengals are known for. But the thing that I think I am really happy for is probably goes also a little bit more under the radar is I don't think that offense is very good for the Raiders. There were 2 times where they should have cashed. Remember when the Chargers were on their own 20 and they went for it on the 4th down?
Yeah, no touchdown.
The Raiders left with 3 points, and I think that happened 2 times where they were within the red zone. They left with 6 points total. And so that's unfortunate. And once again, if the Bengals having a better defense than the Chargers, like we did the first game, if we can just get in his Derek Carr's face, rattle him, give him that pressure in Cincinnati, in the cold, having it hit, and they gets hit a little bit harder. And if you look at a lot of the roster, I'm not going to go with every single player because, if you know him, you do. But like 7 of the 11 defensive starters all played college ball in a very cold area. And so they're used to it. That's nothing crazy, nothing new. So I'm taking, of course, 5.5 Bengals at this point, but I actually think it could get ugly, like bad.
Yeah. We got Josh Galindo in the chat.
Raider Dater. That's
He's
funny.
Real excited. I forgot y'all got a little little game going on here.
Oh yeah, nice to see you, Galendo. But I mean, like I said, I think also I don't want to say they were. Oh, and also most of our starters had a bye week because a lot of them didn't play last
Yeah,
week, so a lot of them are feeling
that's
better.
and
Um,
uh the Raiders are coming off of the last game of the week, and now they have to play in the first game.
So
So
there's a little
they
bit
only
less
have like
rest
five
time,
five days of rest or whatever when the
a little
Bengals have like
bit
2 weeks. So
right, a little bit of rest time that they had. And then to go further, I think that game for Derek Carr and that game for what the Raiders have gone through, and of course what Basashi has gone through, it was a very emotional game. And I think their emotions of making it to the playoffs was so huge to where I can possibly see them being satisfied already and happy already, and it could come back to bite them um, in this next coming game. So we'll see. Oh wow, fuck the Bengals Raiders win. I guess. Uh, but go ahead. I know I went off, but go ahead.
yeah, I mean it's your team. So uh, yeah, I'm going Bengals minus 5.5 here. Um, I actually the one bet that I really like, and I had told y'all was Bengals plus 850 to win the AFC Championship. So my thought process behind this, or it's actually not my bet, it was told by somebody else, but I took it and was like, yes, I love this. So basically, what it is the Bengals will play the Raiders. They're 5.5 point favorites, and then next week I think they would line up perfectly against the Titans as long as the Bills don't lose. So then they play the Titans, and then at that point, I think the Bengals could definitely pull that win together, and then they would now be in the AFC Championship, and then at that point they would play the Bills or the Chiefs. And then if you want to, just hedge it out and bet on one of those other teams. So I think there's extreme value for the Bengals here because I think their road to the AFC Championship is favorable for them. So I already took that. I took 1 unit, so I think it's to win like 8.5. And if they do get there, I will definitely hedge out. No offense, Miles, but
Oh,
um,
I wouldn't
um,
blame you at all.
so yeah, I agree with Miles here in the 5.5. I think the Raiders they it's been an emotional ride with them, and even when it came down to the Chargers game, I don't think that they were the better team there. From watching the game, the Chargers made some stupid decisions. That PI was really bad. Yeah, that fourth down was basically like what ended them in a way. Um, and the PI because right there that's like 10 points that they basically gave away to them. So I think the Chargers were better, and I am a Raiders fan, but I think this is going to come to an end for them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when I originally thought the line was going to come out, I thought it was going to be more 7.5 even for the Bengals, and now it's sitting at 5.5. And I think that people are more so just getting excited about the Raiders and they like want to bet on them because it's kind of like a feel good story almost. But like when it comes down to it, I don't know why you wouldn't take the Bengals here. Maybe they're thinking Derek Carr has more experience and maybe Basaccia has more experience when it comes to coaching and stuff, but like the Bengals are just straight up the better team here. So yeah, Bengals minus 5.5 is definitely my pick. I'm probably not going to bet it. I think I'm just going to ride with my AFC conference champion. But yeah, in the sense of this play, 5.5 Bengals. Frosty.
Yeah, on this one, Mills, you put it perfectly when you were talking about the Raiders giving up big plays. They definitely that is their weakness, and that is something that the Bengals are very good at is
Yep.
big plays. So, in the fact that Cincinnati got to rest a lot of their players this last week is a plus. Raiders had to put everything out on the line to win that game. And Alex, like you were saying, you know, it, it did not look like they were the better team that game.
Yep.
It really didn't. It looked like the Chargers were in control, And then the fact that the Chargers converted so many fourth downs was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely up and down that game. I did not need a tie, so thank you, Chargers head coach, for calling a timeout there. Really appreciate that because I think the Raiders were happy with the tie. They didn't really. They were, they were fine with it.
I think they were content with the tie, but they wanted to win.
Yeah.
Well, they
I don't
said
think they wanted to play the Chiefs.
Basashia had said that the timeout that Staley took
changed
a good amount because they were thinking tie.
Yeah.
But yeah,
because I think Josh Jacobs, then if he runs for like 3 yards, they're just like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do a tie.
The fact that he pulled out that 13-yard run definitely changed their thought process for sure when it
yeah. In regards to this game though, 5.5. I think it should be closer. The line should move to 6.5 by the time the game gets there. I think people will start betting on the Bengals, honestly. I don't think Raiders will get a whole lot of the money or love. So Vegas is going to want more money to be spread out. But in regards to it, I think Joe Burrow has a great game. The only thing I'm concerned about is Joe Mixon. He's got to control the ball, cannot fumble like you were saying. If you don't have turnovers, Bengals are amazing. That's the only thing I'm concerned about is Joe Mixon, possibly with the ball control. Jamar Chase, I'm not really concerned about. I'm sure he's going to put up like $120.
Yeah, I wonder what his player prop
something
is
along the lines of that.
So
I could see something along the lines of that, but I'm leaning Bengals on this one. I didn't put any money on the game itself. I wasn't going to curse you. I wanted the Bengals to have their first playoff win since 1991. So go Bengals. Hope wish you the best of luck in that game. I know that'll be a little stressful since it's the first one of the weekend, but definitely leaning Bengals on this one. I think Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, they're very similar. Like when it comes to, like I think it's almost a wash when you look at it like that way. Running backs, I think it's a wash too with Joe Mixon and Jacobs. But I think the defense is where the Bengals have the upper hand. So that's the one thing I like. I like teams with great defenses in the playoffs. They definitely can help carry the load. So definitely like the Bengals on this one.
Sweet. We all come into agreement there. Of course, I could probably go another 10 minutes, but I'm not going to do it. Going on to the next game, New England going to Buffalo. Off-site, do we have weather on this one?
It's going to be, I think it's going to be like
it's going to be
15 degrees. Or no, 15 mile per hour winds, and it'll be like single digits or something.
I mean, if this is a repeat,
my friends.
If this is a repeat of that game we had where, what it was like, Mac Jones went 1 of 2 or something like that.
No, I don't think it's not going to be that windy. Okay. It won't be. That's why the total line has been going up, is because they're expecting the wind to die down during that game. So the total line's going up, and obviously with Josh Allen kind of being born in the cold and played in the cold in Wyoming, I think they think Josh Allen's going to actually be able to throw the ball a lot better than the last showing.
Okay. Off rip, I was thinking, Patriots. I was thinking Belichick. I was thinking defense. But, I'm just, I guess I kind of bought in too much into Mac Jones and the receiving core that they lack. And I do believe that this is going to be, since it's playoff time, this is going to call on the better quarterback, which in a lot of these games, that's probably directions I'm going to be going is, the quarterback play. So I am going to be taking -4 Buffalo Bills, of course, for them to win outright. But yeah, I just think the better offense, probably not the better defense, but in terms of Josh Allen's been here and playoff wise, he could perform a little bit better. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, Bills -4 is my play as well. This is about what I thought the line would be, maybe like 4.5. It is a little bit higher than 3, which you don't love as much, but I think with today's football, 4 can almost be considered 3 in some way. But I mean, we've had 2 podcasts about this game already. I've always picked the Bills. I think the first game that they played was kind of a wash to me. 40 miles per hour weather and snow bowl and whatever the fuck that was, if I can say that on YouTube. Noah, I don't know if I
You already
can,
said it,
but
so we're over it.
It's already there.
we'll take this off for the children. But yeah, I think the Bills are just all around better team. Like it combined, Belichick is definitely a better coach, and he's the pure reason why I think they won the first game. Is I think Bill Belichick knew that the weather was going to be shitty, and he knew the game plan. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Josh Allen fan. I think he's the top 5 quarterback, and I think Mac Jones is a serviceable game manager, and I haven't been impressed with him at all this whole season, and so I don't know why I would pick him in a playoff game. So I'm gonna ride the Bills -4. I feel comfortable. Last game they played was for my AFC East future at 5 units, and I wasn't scared at any point of that game. I knew it was over. I don't know if y'all saw my thumbnail with Miles, but it definitely deterred to my side for Bills. But yeah, to me they're just a better team. Vegas is basically only telling us that it's 1 point of a difference, and I think it's more drastic than that. So I got to take Bills here.
Yeah, on this one, I'm going with the Patriots on this one. Just so you know, road teams have a lot of success against the spread in the playoffs, especially the wild card weekend. They're 22-11-1 in the last few years. So just keep in mind, I don't think, obviously, Josh Allen is a better QB. I'm not concerned about that. Patriots have won straight up in their last 2 playoffs when they're considered the underdog. So I do like I like Belichick. Obviously the coaching edge goes to Belichick on this one. I don't think it's going to play as much as a factor as that last one that we saw, obviously. So you should see a lot more offense in this game. Like I was saying before, the line's going up. It's been, I think it started off of the week at 41.5. It's up to 44. It should go up to probably 46, and I think it'll stop there. But in regards to my bet, I'm leaning Patriots on this one. The only bet I have is the under. I do like these 2 defenses. These are probably the 2 best defenses in the playoff right here. These 2 are the top 2 defenses.
You think Bills are better than Steelers?
I think the Bills defense has been like lights out. These last 3 weeks, they're going in the positive trend. Yeah. You want to get hot towards the end of the season. That's exactly what that defense is doing. That defense is starting to climb right now and is starting to get to the caliber that everybody expected at the beginning of the season. And so I do like Buffalo. This defense, New England obviously has been playing amazing defense. I'm not saying that the Patriots will win, but I do like getting the 4 points and them keeping it close. I think Buffalo barely squeaks by on this game. I don't think they blow them out by any means. The main thing that Buffalo has the edge on is Josh Allen's run game, pretty much.
Yeah,
his running is the key to that whole
game.
Yeah, I don't even care about the running backs. It's Josh Allen. If he goes over, I think there was a stat where if he goes over like 60 yards rushing, I think they're like 6-0 or something like that. So as long as he can get some QB option plays for him, I think they'll be fine. Especially with that weather. I don't think there'll be a ton of passing. The only thing that kind of kept me away from the Bills was Josh Allen's stat line for that last game.
Mm-hmm.
He missed a lot of passes against a horrible Jets team. So just keep that in mind. I think they'll stick with the run game. See Josh Allen throw maybe about 30 times somewhere in there. As long as he completes 20, then they should be fine.
Yeah, that was one thing that I definitely noticed in the first game. I feel like, or the first game that the Bills played the Patriots, I don't think they were really utilizing Josh Allen's like run potential. I think he only got like 20 rushing yards or something like that.
They just don't want to. They don't want to do. They don't want to do what Carolina did with Cam and absolutely wear him down.
Yeah, I mean, this
especially
is
after the money they gave him.
This is going to be, and you kind of had mentioned, his performance in the Jets, even the Jaguars when they played. Yep. But I think this is going to be playoff football, and all those games can kind of wash away a little bit, and now we're going to kind of see what teams are made of. So
yeah, just keep in mind Josh Allen's 1-3 against the spread in his career. Yeah, for the playoffs.
Oh, playoffs, yeah.
Okay. Going on. Philadelphia Eagles heading on to Tampa. This is going to be a game where the weather's going to be beautiful, probably, unless it rains, but I doubt it.
I hope it's humid.
And 8.5. I don't know. I think for a playoff game with a running team and the Eagles, that kind of is a little bit rich for me. So I am going to take the 8.5 Eagles play. Something else that I'm just. I don't know, man. It's just something about this is also a team, right? This is also a team that had that bye week like the Bengals did, quote unquote bye week, resting their players. You saw the Buccaneers; they had a lot of their starters out still. So who knows? I do hope Sirianni just kind of doesn't overthink it, and they have just a stout running game, and they just maybe some complex running formations, and we're able to push back the Buccaneers defensive line and just make some nice plays for Jalen Hurts for play action wise. But 8.5 is where I'm going. I'm not as bullish to say that they win the game. You got the GOAT Tom Brady on the other side, but they are down X amount of players in that wide receiver range, even though Gronk's been balling. Mike Evans is still the GOAT in that receiving core. Fournette's coming back. Shaq Barrett's back. So they have a lot of pieces that are back. That being said, if I were to do an Alex Blasik percentage on if the Eagles win, like their chances of winning, I would say I'm probably around like 46%. Like I think they have a great chance of winning if they can get a few turnovers and just run the fucking ball like they do. I like their chances. But yeah, I'm gonna take the 8.5 Eagles. The under at 46. It's interesting. I think that's a lot. This could be a low scoring game. But I don't know. But 8.5 Eagles for me.
Yeah. With what you said, you should take Eagles money line then at plus 300 or whatever it is. I'm definitely going Bucks minus 8.5 here. One thing I like to do before the spreads come out is I like to predict them, and this is one of those ones that I thought would be closer to 10 or even 10.5, especially just because I thought a lot of the people would bet on the Bucks.
Now, is that based upon what you think it should be, or what you think Vegas would put it as?
What Vegas would put it as.
Okay.
I mean, to me, I think they're 10. They should be 10-point favorites. I mean, I don't have like a power rankings in front of me, but just like guessing what the line like would come out to be, I thought it would be Bucks 10. So right when I saw it at 8.5, I thought it was a little low. Honestly, this is just there's not going to be much explanation here. I'm taking Arians and Tom Brady, kind of like what Miles said. I mean, Fournette's back, Gronk's back, Tom Brady's the quarterback, and on the Eagles side, like I honestly just haven't been impressed with them at all this whole season. I think even their last like 7 weeks. I don't know what their record is. It honestly might be like 6-0 or something, or I guess outside of the Cowboys. But they just haven't really played much competition, and Hurts, Sirianni, I just can't get behind that at all. So I think Tom Brady's really good at home, especially in Tampa, and yeah, I do think it could be a defensive game, more low scoring, because I think the Bucks are really going to lean on Fournette, and
Mm-hmm.
I do think the Eagles, where they shine is on defense, and just because I don't think they can really move the ball much, but I mean I think the Bucks probably win 24 to like 14 or something like that. I think would be decent, or 27 to 14. But if there is one play I'm going to do, I'm probably going to tease it down to 3 just to be really safe, because I honestly do think a lot of sharps are going to be coming in on the Eagles. Kind of what Frost said. I think a lot of the public people are going to take the favorites. And even last year, we saw with Washington, they played Tom Brady really close. I don't remember what the score was, but it was probably within 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Bucks are one of those teams that you can be confused sometimes with how the games go. I mean, we looked at that when they played the Patriots, they didn't play too well, but I think it's just going to be playoff football, and I'm taking Tom Brady, so 8.5 is my play here.
Yeah, so we talked about it beforehand. I'm gonna switch mine up. By the way, I'm leaning more towards the Eagles on this one. But one thing I'll say is the Bucks do have an amazing rush defense. I think they're number 5 or number 6 right now in the league, so that could be pretty daunting for the Eagles. Either way, the Eagles have shown that no matter what defense you put in front of them, they are going to rush the ball. I think Sirianni, after that one game that he tried to switch it up and they
Mm-hmm.
failed miserably, I think he
Mm-hmm.
learned his lesson. And I don't think they're going to do anything, like you said, overthink it. I think they need to stick to their game plan. And the game plan for the Eagles to win this game is going to be keep Tom Brady off of the field
Mm-hmm.
because their secondary is horrible. It is not that good. They have a good front 7, which will be great against Leonard Fournette, but their secondary is the thing that scares me the most.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that the Eagles will win. I'm saying that it's more likely that they have a backdoor cover going into this game, because once the Bucks are up, maybe 10 or 14 points, I could see that they kind of let off the brakes in the fourth quarter, being up that much, and then it's the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes of the game, and the Eagles are pushing to go ahead and get another touchdown. So I like the Eagles, covering this one. They're 5-1 against the spread the last 6 playoff games they've played. Obviously, I don't know what it is about the Eagles. They just have luck when it comes to the playoffs, is what it seems. Um, Everybody doubted Big Dick Nick, and he ended up winning for them. So it's one of those things. Is yes, they haven't been playing the best of competition, but that's your same division, Alex. Like the
Mm-hmm.
same division you have been curb stomping
Mm-hmm.
the last 6 or 7 games. It's the same division they have been curb stomping
Well,
the last 6 or 7
keep that
games.
energy on the
All
Cowboys
right,
then.
calm down there. Chill out there.
Okay.
But real quick. Let's talk Buccaneers, right? So they had that, very dramatic win against the Jets. That say what you want, a win is still a win, right? But none of us thought they were gonna win. You have the Antonio Brown thing. Their 2 big wins that they've had in the past 3 weeks was to the Panthers. And what do we think? We think nothing highly of the Panthers. They're picking at 8 this year. And then before that, it was a loss to the Saints, that 9-0 game, that
Mm-hmm.
weird game. So
Yeah.
their past 4 weeks have not been very demonstrative of them being that Super Bowl caliber team.
Mm-hmm.
And still in that same breath, it was all the way up to that Jets game. You had AB at least still there. Now they're and you go back to that last Eagles meeting, right? You had the full force. You had Godwin, Evans, AB, like everyone was balling,
Yep.
and they only win 28-22. So you ask yourself them some questions there. So It doesn't look like the Buccaneers have been, that beat up 10 plus, point team this season. It doesn't look like that. I mean, they beat up the Falcons. They won only by 6 to the Bills. I mean, it doesn't look like they're that for sure shoe in for a 10-point spread or an even 8.5 spread. So, yeah.
I think for sure on that one too. I think they look weaker than what they did last season going into the playoffs. Is the main thing. Like even if the record doesn't indicate it, the injuries to that wide receiver core is. I don't know. If they win this one, that's great. But I don't know if I could bet on them the next week.
Yeah.
Following up, just because they have so much.
I'll have this clipped. So that means Frost hot take is taking the Cowboys next week to beat the Buccaneers.
Cowboys aren't even winning this weekend. So
let's move on to the Cowboys. 49ers at Dallas. Frost is hot right now. I love it. +3. You have the 49ers heading on to Texas. Oh man. Interesting game. I think this is I mean, like according to spread, this is probably the closest game that Vegas really doesn't know what could happen. That being said, I believe that the 49ers, man, it's just something about them. I don't know. They shouldn't have won against the Rams last week. Just George Kittle.
George Kittle's a monster.
I don't know, man. -3 Cowboys.
Say it out loud. Say it with your chest.
I'm gonna take money line 49ers.
Oh my!
Let's go.
I know, I get it, right? And it's weird. The times that I've banked on the Cowboys, they've disappointed me. And the whole Debo thing, the George Kittle thing, and Jimmy G's back, of course. And I feel like, the Cowboys win over the Eagles last week. It meant nothing. I don't think it meant nothing because it wasn't.
Well, I don't think anyone was taking that game seriously.
Right.
Even on our side.
Yeah.
Right.
Both sides didn't really care.
Yeah. But you got Trent Williams, the best tackle in the league. We'll see. This is a coin flip. I'm probably not gonna do anything with this game, but if I had to go a direction, it'd be 49ers straight up. Because that's the value. I like the value in that. This is a coin flip game, I think, and so I like the value of the +145. But go ahead, Alex. Have your
Yeah, I completely disagree. I think when we're talking Alex percentages, I would say the 49ers probably win 30% of the time, and that probably that's different for Miles because he thinks it's a coin flip. When I thought the line was going to come out, I thought it was going to be Cowboys -6, and it's at -3. So I think the line's off. I honestly thought a lot of people are going to be on the Cowboys just because it's the public thing and people get excited about the Cowboys. And so I think with that information, I thought that Vegas was going to put the line up at around 6 and then it'd be bet down to more like a -4. But I don't know what people see in the 49ers, if I'm being honest. Sure, they have a decent defense. They have okay run. But, when it comes to Jimmy G, I'm taking Dak every single time over him. Maybe I think the only argument in my head is when it comes down to Shanahan, maybe he's better. And then
maybe.
I don't know. I honestly think Shanahan's an overrated coach. So
for Shanahan to be where he's at,
he hasn't proved that much to me. And we have the defensive coordinator going against his boy Shanahan again. So I just don't know. I don't see what people see in Jimmy G. He hasn't really done that much. I think statistically, at least, sure, maybe you can trust him a little bit more just because he's more of a veteran quarterback. But when it comes to QB, I'm taking Dak over Jimmy G. When it comes to O-line, I'm taking Cowboys. Receivers, I'm taking Cowboys. Running back, I'm taking Cowboys. Defense, I'm probably taking Cowboys, or it's at least close. Micah is easily the best player on the field when it comes to the two defenses, and we're at home, and we've been better all season than they have. And maybe they've been playing a little bit better at the end, but even so, they're not like one of those teams with like a super high ceiling. Like I think they're just like a more of a floor team. They have a good they're good. They're good. But when it comes to like the ceiling, the Cowboys, in my opinion, can be a Super Bowl team if they play what they're capable of playing, which I don't think they will when it comes down to it. But if everyone's playing at their best, I think we can be one of the best teams in the playoffs. It's not going to happen. I know it's not. They're going to let me down next week against the Bucks. But kind of what we were talking about last game, the Bucks have some holes, and there's not a lot of holes on our team. Like we have a top offense when everyone's playing well. We have an insane receiving core. Our biggest problem is the penalties. That's what I see, and I think we're a little overrated on the defensive side, and like Diggs is one of those guys that people compare him to Jameis, but yeah, he's probably gonna let a Kittle or a Debo get a big touchdown early or something like that, but if Dak is full health, and we got CD and our offensive line, you got Tyron Smith coming back, I just don't get it. This line doesn't make any sense to me. So Cowboys -3 would have been my lock, but we're banning that, so I'll just take them silently. Frosty.
Yeah, you already know where I'm going on this one.
I know. It's just all
so
hate.
I'm definitely going
It's
San
hate.
Francisco on this one. I've never been a huge Cowboy supporter. I do like your take on it, though. On that being said, Cowboys have, I think, this year had the easiest schedule out of anybody in the NFL. So just like we were talking about earlier, the same division that the Eagles curb stomped is the same division the Cowboys curb stomped, but on the other end, Cowboys curb stomped the Eagles, so that's where, kind of you have the upper hand there. In regards to QB play, Jimmy Garoppolo, the injuries to him haven't seemed to be bothering him the last two games, which is great to see for the 49ers. Their run game, I believe, is better than your run game. So just keep that in mind. I don't think Zeke is all that, first off.
We have Pollard too, though.
Yeah, Pollard's your running back one. But I'm glad you admitted that. In regards to the offensive line, I actually think they match up pretty evenly, offensive line-wise. Defense, I will give you guys the edge. I think defensively, you have an amazing front seven. The back end is the only thing I'm concerned about. We talked about it with Diggs giving up a lot of passing yards, but he does have the interceptions, so he's a turnover monster, which is great. That'll give him a big contract that Jerry Jones is going to pay, and he'll regret it later, so that's all I care about. But in regards to the QB play, I don't really count that last game just because both teams really weren't there. I guess to say the least, like there was nothing to play for that game, for the Eagles game.
I mean, I said it last
stats.
I said it last playoffs or last podcast. Sorry, I think that game was a game that we needed to kind of get our confidence back, because we were definitely lacking on the offensive side in the past.
You could say the same thing for San Francisco though. They beat the Rams or whatever, considered the Super Bowl favorites at the beginning of the season.
Yeah,
and they're going in, I think, on a higher high than what the Cowboys are going in on. Like, I think they're riding something. Not it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a gut feeling, like where I feel like they have more momentum going into this game than what the Cowboys have going into this game. I just feel like that's it. That's the only thing I have to say.
I would have definitely wished that these two teams played in the regular season, because I think the way I see it is this. Like, I think the 49ers, of course, had a harder schedule, but it kind of drives me a little bit to believe that if they had the exact same schedule, if they switched schedules, I don't think the records would be very off from the other,
Yeah, I think they'd be almost the same.
So, I mean, just real quick, of course, Cowboys beat the shit out of the Eagles, but losing that Cardinals game was something that I didn't expect. I think that would have been a statement game that would have had me believe more into the Cowboys. And then you beat the hell out of the Washington football team. Don't care. You win 21-6 the Giants. Don't care. You beat the Washington football team by 7. Don't care. And then there's that Saints game, 27-17. That one was like a blunderfuck for a long time. And then you go back further, you lose to the Raiders in overtime. So, and then you lost by 10 to the Chiefs. It's still, like I said, I feel like the 49ers can do all that. So I think that's what Vegas is probably seeing. There are some similarities. If you take, I feel like you take two teams, flip schedules. I feel like it could be the same record in a sense, but
like in an overview, what team is better? Do you think? I mean, Vegas.
If we're going talent, if we're going talent, I think the Cowboys have more talented players. But
or like
maybe it's a sense of Vegas sees that the 49ers play together like in a better sense. Like when the 49ers are down, if they're down, they're likely to come back. If they're being overlooked, they're likely to show up. Maybe that's what Vegas is seeing more of a sense of. I'll give you this. If both of these teams play 100% to their highest ceiling, I'll take Cowboys. But I mean, we've only seen the Cowboys really do that against bad teams. If we want to be honest,
yeah.
But we've seen the 49ers come out and play really, really well against really good teams. So,
I mean, would you say the Rams are a really good team?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know why not. I mean, they have really good. I mean, let's do the Cowboy thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we do the Cowboy thing. Their players are really good, like the Cowboys are. I think that's a really. I mean, you can compare those two teams, honestly.
I guess so.
Rams and Cowboys, and so you got Ramsey and Diggs, you got Stafford, Dak, and then
I think when it comes to in this game in particular, I just look at the quarterback play, and I just have not been impressed with Jimmy G at all.
No one's have all season.
I do think that in the big moment he can shine, but in a general sense, I just don't think he's like that guy. So when it comes down to the quarterback face-off, like I will trust Dak at home way more. Like I would be scared backing Jimmy G. Like I have
you don't
faith.
Trust a QB that's been to the Super Bowl?
He's been to the Super Bowl.
I know, but he hasn't been playing. He hasn't been playing good this whole season. I mean, people are calling for Lance. So, and then even in the last 8 games, he's 8 for 8, 8 touchdowns.
And then if you want to take it a step further,
in the last 2, he's gone 1 and 2. And I don't know.
If you want to take it a step further, I will say this: for us to talk about the Cowboys and how great they are you disappointed in Dak's statistics in the sense of how he probably should be near that 5,000 marker of passing yards and probably more touchdowns? Is it pretty much like he is where he should be?
I think he had really good moments, and then I think in a statistical sense, he played about what I thought he should play. But I think that he played really good at the beginning, and then he kind of fell off a little bit, and then at the end he kind of showed again what it was.
All right.
But all in all, if you look at his stats, they're still crazy.
Yeah, they're good stats.
He had 30 TDs and 9 ints or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And there are definitely moments that, and I don't think it's all on Dak. And I think that's been kind of something that we've been talking about, at least between me and Hack. It's been a full team problem. It's not necessarily him. Sure, okay. But I mean, look at our run game. Zeke had 20 rushing yards and Pollard had 20. I forget what team it was, the Cardinals, I think it was. But and then I honestly think that when it comes down to it, I'm most scared of our offensive line. Like with the penalties we get on our offensive line will screw us. And as long as we have Tyron Smith back, so that's huge. He's a huge momentum swing with having him, because that guy is like Anthony Davis. So the fact that we have him is big. And Micah's coming back from the COVID thing, and I I just think that we're gonna beat him real good. So
I mean, it'll
I
definitely
could be
be
a
a good
completely
game.
biased fan, but
Mhm.
I just I don't see it, because in my opinion I thought people were gonna start betting on the Cowboys. And I mean, y'all are what quote unquote sharps are doing. People are betting on the 49ers, and maybe it's a matchup thing. Maybe they think they can run all over us, and that's kind of where our flaws are in the run game.
And it's
And
probably
maybe
the
they
Kittle
can,
factor of probably
yeah,
no one can really guard him.
yeah. I think people think that, the 49ers are just going to slowly, like kill us, I guess. But
Hmm.
and they see it as a matchup thing. But when it comes down to it, I didn't want the Cardinals. I didn't want the Rams. I wanted the 49ers or the Eagles, and I feel very comfortable against 49ers and Eagles. So,
Okay.
yeah, I
All right.
mean, like I said, I think every 2 out of 3 games we'll win. So maybe they get that 1 out of 3 and we lose, but I'm feeling pretty confident here. So
Okay. Well, we'll definitely see. Like I said, I think that game could go either way.
yeah,
I think I do think it's a coin flip, but I do like the plus 145 value.
yeah.
Um, so next game, Steelers heading down to Kansas City. Oh boy, 12 and a half. I think it's really tough to take a double digit spread against a team that's in the playoffs. That being said, something that because I was at work and I was able to watch that Broncos and Chiefs game that was close score wise, but it did seem as if Patrick Mahomes, even though it didn't look like the score was going up ever, it just looked like him being able to just avoid the pass rush because they don't blitz. So a lot of I guess teams have been they haven't been blitzing because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback that can, or not, or one of the best quarterbacks that can pick up a blitz and get the right guy open. So a lot of them have just been going, 4-man rush, what the Broncos did all game. I think they had one play where they sent the fifth guy, and Mahomes did some good shit. But I think this is going to be a different front four. The Steelers are definitely going to play 2-man high. They're not going to get beat by um,
Tyreek.
Tyreek. This is going to be a game where those backup dancers are going to have to come up, and Kelsey's going to have to come up big in the run game. Also, it's going to be interesting. That's what I don't see. I'm assuming it's because they know that the offense probably won't get started for the Steelers. So it might be a 14-0 game. Like the Chiefs will steal something. But I don't know. That being said, I do not think Michael would be covering George Kittle. So, yeah. Another thing, like I think that's a great point. Justin just said, like that might be a little stop Najee Harris and do so. What the game plan might actually be is what they try to do with the Bengals, playing full on man, one high safety. We'll try to stop the run. Our best against your best. Let's see if Big Ben can make the throws that Joe Burrow made. And that's if that's the case, then maybe the Steelers can't get points on the board if Najee's not balling. But Najee's been, doing his thing at the last backhand of the season. But 12 and a half, I don't know. It's just hard for me to really swallow that. Really
Yeah.
hard for me to swallow that. But go ahead, Alex.
Um, this one's tough. I'm not gonna make a play on it when it comes just to the spread, but if I had to, I feel like I would take the Chiefs 12 and a half, just because it would be hard for me to back the Steelers. And I will say I've been a huge Steelers backer all season, maybe to Frost's extent, but I I think
Win total, baby.
yeah, win total. The Steelers definitely have made me a lot of money this year. Probably my most profitable team, just because I think that Vegas has disrespected them a lot. Just because their defense has been really good, and I think they can hang in games. But the Chiefs are a different story in my head. They're a freak of nature team, and this I believe is where they're going to start shining. Um, and I'm saying this in the sense that I didn't make a play, but if I had to pick a side, I'm going to go Chiefs. Just because, kind of like what Miles was saying, I don't know if the Steelers can really move the ball here. Their offense is literally handing it off, and Ben Roethlisberger throwing 8-yard hooks.
He
And
throws 15-yard hooks.
oh,
There you go,
15. I don't
baby.
know about that. I didn't see many
Hey, check your
15-yard
shit,
hooks.
bro.
Yeah.
Check your
Um,
fucking stats.
I didn't
bro.
see many of those, but I just trust Andy Reid. I trust Mahomes. I think they have more big play factor, and they're at home here. And I mean, Ben Roethlisberger even said, "What's the line? 20." So I'm gonna assume that the Chiefs win by
Stop
3
it.
touchdowns.
He was not genuine.
Yeah.
Ben
Really?
Roethlisberger knows
Yeah.
exactly what's going to happen. The Chiefs are going to win by 20 points. But I would be scared backing the Steelers because I think the Chiefs have a viable defense. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. I don't think the Steelers will move the ball. I think the Chiefs can definitely win this game like 31-10 or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna tease it down to 6.5, I think. But once again, I'll ride the Chiefs and my friend Justin Kim here.
You
From
ride
us.
him?
Yeah, I'll ride
You're
him.
riding? That's kind of weird.
Yeah, I'll ride him.
So I am obviously a big Steelers fan. I'm not putting any money on this game because it'll be a curse. But in regards to what you guys were saying, the only stat I'm going to throw out there is double-digit favorites. Unfortunately, are 7-1 against the spread in the wild card round, so they do have good odds going their way.
Oh, they do cover?
Yeah, they cover.
Oh wow. Okay.
The one bet I took is obviously the Steelers. We all know they don't really like to play offense the first 2 quarters. They kind of just sit there and do 3 and outs. So I like the Kansas City -7 for the first half. That's one bet that I really like. Um, I'm obviously I love my team and they're playing with house money. A lot of people didn't expect them to be where they're at, so that's the one thing I kind of like in this game is the Steelers can go and do whatever they want and nobody's going to blame them. I love being an underdog team. That's Steelers have done very well when considered underdogs.
Mhm.
So I do like the one thing that Mills brought up is the 4-man rush for the Steelers is probably the best in the game right now. They have probably the best front 4 out of any team. The only thing I'm concerned about is obviously the back end. They better be doing double high, like you said. That's the one thing that kind of rattled Patrick Mahomes at the beginning of the season is when teams were starting to do that and they were reaching him with a 4-man rush, just like you said with Denver. So I think their game plan, that's what they're going to have to do. They typically give their run defense isn't amazing because they're typically the front 4 are blitzing like crazy, not really playing run defense. So Bush was back last game, looked great. So he's coming off of injury. But I do, I'm going to root for the Steelers on this one, but not keeping my hopes up too high. This obviously all the memes of Big Ben's retirement party coming out. So, it's one thing I'd love to see them win, but it's gotta kind of keep your hopes where they're at, especially at the beginning of the season when Vegas said,
Yeah.
oh, they're not a playoff team. They're, third in their own division. And then, it switched. The Bengals became number 1. Steelers were number 2. Ravens number 3 and Browns number 4. So it's one of those things. It's a weird year for the Steelers. Their offensive line is nowhere near where we need it to be for Najee to really flourish the way he needs to flourish for that team. So it's he's been playing lights out the last few games. I do like the game plans that been doing a lot more play actions, which is nice with Najee Harris. So it's it's a tough one to bet for me just because it's my team. So I'm not going to really put any money on it. The only thing I'll do is the first half Kansas City. So
Sweetness. Here we go. Last one of the week of the wild card weekend. Cardinals going to
It's Monday night, right?
Monday
Yep,
Night
Monday
Football.
night.
Man, Robert's gonna just be stressed out. I can't wait.
I think this is pretty much short and sweet for me. I think it's Rams at 3.5. I just think them being at home, I don't know. I'm just gonna take the Rams. This is also a game where it's pretty close, but I don't want if AJ Green is the main target. Losing Nuke is so fucking massive.
Yeah.
But JJ Watt's back. I know. The Robert is really keen on that. But Von Miller's on the other side. Jalen Ramsey's on the other side. Aaron Donald, Odell. So I mean, there's just it's really that 49ers Cowboys game, and I guess in this instance, I'm more in line with the Rams, and I just don't know if the Cardinals are still and Cliff are still comfortable in an offense without Nuke. But we'll see. This will definitely be a game that if they won, I don't know, but I got to go Rams 3.5.
Yeah, this game's a little bit harder for me to predict, kind of with Miles here. I think it's going to be more of a coin flip in my eyes. So I see the value with the Cardinals on this one. But Miles has definitely been dead on in the sense that Nuke not necessarily has been like a stat kind of person, but definitely he's like Kyler's like comfort guy, and he's definitely taking a lot of pressure off the other receivers. But I'm honestly probably going to look at the under here just because I think the Cardinals have kind of been lacking in the sense of their offense, and I feel the same way with the Rams. Stafford has not been playing well either. So I think this is honestly going to come more on the defense for both teams. I can see this being more of like a 24-21 type game. So with that being said, I think it's going to be more of like a 40-46 total, and right now it's showing as a 49. So I see value with the under, and I see value with the Cardinals. And I guess if you want to get cute, you could do some sort of like teaser, put the Cardinals up to 10 maybe, and then tease the under to where it's at like 56 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, everyone kind of talked about Kingsbury kind of lacking at the end of the season. That's kind of what's showing. Um, I I thought Stafford was going to be more of a top 10 quarterback this season. I don't know. I don't think I have him at top 10 anymore. I think he's more sitting at that top 15 area. And when it comes down to playoff games, I'm looking more at the quarterback. That's kind of like how I do all my playoff games. I'm like, which team has the better quarterback? And so I just trust Kyler more. And if JJ Watt's playing, I think that could be a big factor as well. I don't think many people are on the Cardinals, but even Robert, I don't think is on the Cardinals. Maybe his thoughts will change once game time starts closing in. But in my opinion, I knew that there was going to be a moment that I was going to fade this Rams team just because I've always said that they're the Lakers of the NFL. There are a lot of big names, but you know, it I just don't trust them, and so I think I see this more of a coin flip game. And another argument too is the Cardinals have traveled really well. I don't know what their record is away, but I think they're like 7-1 or something like that. So yeah, my value play is going to be Cardinals here. Honestly, if I can get something at like plus 160 or plus 150, I might just straight up money line the Cardinals. So that's my opinion. Frost.
Yeah, on this one, I'm leaning with you on the Cardinals. I do not like the way Matthew Stafford has been playing the last few games. He has 7 interceptions in the last 3 games. That's nuts. So just keep that in mind. And even then, the wins that they've had haven't been dominating wins. Like they haven't really shut out a lot of teams or anything like that. The only thing I'm concerned about is I do believe the defense is better for obviously the Rams. They definitely have a star-studded. If Hop was in there, I think this line would be a pick 'em at that point. I think Vegas would be like, "Yep, it's a pick 'em."
I don't know if it'd be that, but maybe more like 2.5, 2.
I think it'd be like at 1. But in regards to the way Kyler's been kind of carrying that team, it's definitely shown. And you said the QB play is a big factor. Kyler's definitely been playing lights out and been playing a lot better than Stafford has. I agree with you. I think Stafford is middle of the pack right now. I don't even think he's maybe top 15, but the only reason he's top 15 is because of his passing yards. Maybe
I think a lot of people thought he was.
I would take Derek Carr over Matthew Stafford right now.
Yeah, I
just
agree.
the way he's been playing, and it's about I just don't know what it is with this Cardinals team. If I hear freaking JJ Watt come out and say, "Hey, we're just better," I'm immediately betting all my money on the Rams. I do not want to hear that motherfucker speak. Just go out on the field and just fucking play. But the Cardinals, unfortunately, they've been doing what they've historically been doing, is a downward trend towards the end of the season. And that's not what you want to see in the playoffs. But the Rams also haven't been playing, amazing football the last end of the season. So I think, like you said, this is like a pick 'em for me. I would definitely look for the value in the money line to try to get up there. With Hop out, it's kind of tough. Connor came back from injury. You still have Ertz there, and then you look at the Rams. They just signed. Eric? What's his name? Out of retirement.
Yeah.
Eric Weddle.
Weddle.
Yeah, Weddle. They signed him out. I don't know why they signed him, but I guess they just needed depth.
Yeah.
Depth in their football team, but it just seems like they're just trying to grasp at stars and try to make it better.
Yeah.
The coaching for the Rams is what scares me. They have way better coaching than Arizona. I don't think Cliff is that amazing of a coach. Even though he was in candidacy for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, Robert was
that fell. That fell out real fast after the loss streak started to pile up. So, it's in LA. They don't really have a home field advantage there, to say the least. But I'm definitely going for the Cardinals on this one. I'm trying to go for all real friend teams except for Dallas. You know my hatred for them.
Keep that energy.
No, you know my hatred for Dallas. I think it's a coin flip, and it's offensively. I think the Rams got Akers back too, so I think he's back. So that's another worrisome thing for the Cardinals, but I think JJ will play a big factor in that defense, especially the run defense, if he's at at 80 to 100%, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I will say, after kind of talking to y'all about it, I definitely think a lot of these teams are kind of in a downward trend a little bit. And to me, that's kind of just all eyes point at the Packers. I think they're the only team that we can really have a lot of confidence in. So
Titans have been balling out the last games too.
I'm talking NFC specifically, but just NFC wise, I think Packers are really the one team that have the most completeness to them. So
except for their kicking, that's about it.
That's true.
That's literally the only thing that's going to curse them.
I guess that would be the one thing to not have too much.
That's the one thing you can doubt them on is that. I think LaFleur is a great coach and everything, and the defense is getting all their players back.
All through.
They're getting all their offensive linemen back. Bakhtiari comes back for the playoffs, which will be nice.
I think
Yeah, it's gonna
I
be
think we're going to
tough.
see Packers Super Bowl. So
Real quick. There's a few. We're at an hour right now. There's a few props. I don't know if you guys have a few props. There's a few NFL props that we'll go through real quick. There's only one that I really have that I really like. It's two different players. And then if you guys have any, we'll go over that. And then real quick, I'll go over the draft. Plus 800 on most playoff receiving yards for Devontae Adams, and plus 800 most receiving yards for one Cooper Kupp. So I think that's interesting value, especially Devontae Adams' way. If that's a team that I think makes it all the way to the NFC Championship, the only way they get
They
there is
play
going to
one
be through
last game
him.
though. Just keep that in mind.
But it's only going to be Devontae though.
Yeah.
That's why I like
Yeah.
if you are scared about that one game, you go the Cup route at plus 800. So either way, I like those odds very much.
yeah, I could definitely see that because kind of what I was saying earlier. I mean, I think the Packers are going to make the Super Bowl, so in that case, they are going to get their game
And
back.
that still counts playoffs, right? Yeah, that
Yeah,
would
I
still
mean, I
count
don't
as
know why it
playoffs, even if
wouldn't.
they get to the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah.
those are my two. I don't know if you guys had any props for the wild card or throughout the playoffs or
Yeah, I
anything.
didn't.
You already went over your Bengals one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. I haven't really had a chance to look at like futures and stuff like that. Kind of talking about it and just kind of gazing over, but I definitely think Jamar Chase might be kind of like a good individual prop in the sense that I think his receiving total is like 68, and kind of what Frost was saying, I could easily see him putting
You
up.
bet the over.
I could see
In
him
the
putting up
playoffs, you
100
always bet
yards.
over.
Yeah, I could see him putting up that much because I don't think the Raiders are that good at defense. And
It's the fact that Crosby's going to be screaming off the edge like real bad.
yeah,
So Joe's not even going to hold the ball that much, and if he is going to get rid of it, it's going to be to a Tyler Boyd or a T Higgins, someone tall. It takes some time for Jamar to get open.
Yeah.
So that does
so, but
make sense in a
right.
In a way.
I would say fade Miles and Bengals props because
there you go.
All
right, I have some draft stuff that we can go over real quick.
Do we want to do teasers real quick before that?
Okay, yeah. What teasers do you
Frosty
have?
Or do you have teasers?
Oh yeah. So the only the main bets I have or that I'm doing this week, I don't have any teasers because the one game I wanted to tease was that Tampa game down to 2.5, but you don't have another game that you can kind of match it with. You can match it with, I guess, Kansas City down to move it down to 6.5. That I think that's a lock. I don't think that's not a lock. So it's one of those things you have to find the game. Some betting websites you can look to where you do a future like the next week. So you do the first leg of the bet is Tampa minus 2.5, and then next week's lines come out and you put a game in there. So that's what I would look for because I think next week's lines are going to be the highest line will probably be at like 8 to 8.5 because you're once these teams are weeded out of the wild card,
like 7.
They're so close. Like it's no longer kind of that big of a spread. But the games that I bet on is going to be New England. I didn't bet New England to win. I just bet the under. I think it's going to be under. I think it's going to be too cold for them, and I think the wind. It's at 15 miles per hour. It's not like what it was, obviously, but even then, it's the defenses that are playing. Two of the best defenses in the league, in my opinion. I think they all around their defenses are amazing. Buffalo's been on the upswing, obviously. So I like that game being anywhere in the ballpark of 24 to maybe 17 or not even that, like 24 to 14, something like that, like where it's going to be. I think it's going to be really close, and I don't think they really break that over. The next one I did Kansas City. Obviously, I already said it. Kansas City first half -7. Steelers are horrible in the first half. I don't expect them to be any better than what they were.
Yeah.
And then the last one I took was Arizona +4. I do like Arizona to keep it close. like I said, you look for the value in the money line. I think if you get that money line up to 175, 200 for Arizona, I think you take it at that point. It's just the money line isn't there for me right now, so I take the +4 to keep it within a field goal pretty much, and I think that game will be played very close, especially since Stafford he can't throw over.
Can't throw a
He
pick
can only
six.
throw. Yeah, he can't throw over. If he throws 2 interceptions, I think the game's leaning towards Arizona at that point.
Yeah.
He's not going to have a game where he does the 3 interceptions and they still win. I don't think that happens again, especially in the playoffs. So.
Yeah. I had one teaser. I think I had mentioned it earlier, but it's exactly what Frost said. It's Tampa Bay 2.5, and then bring down the Chiefs to 6.5. I think that's going to be. I don't know if people have like taken this already, but that seems to me that should be a lock at least. So I'm going to be cheering for the Eagles because I would love to not play the or I guess we would play the Bucks. Or no, wait, I don't know how that would work out. Oh, they would play the Packers, and then we could play like the Rams or the Cardinals.
Just keep in mind, like during the wild card round, since 2003. So there's just the little stat. Since 2003, home favorites of 7 or fewer points are 14, 28, and 1 against the spread.
14, 28, and 1. Wow. That's wild.
They're bad against the spread. So there's a lot of you can expect at least 1 or 2 upsets, like straight out wins from the underdogs, typically. So it's one of those things you just got to be careful.
I think when it comes to gambling, I think a lot of people, especially during the playoffs, are going to take those, Tampa Bays and the Chiefs and the Bills and of course that's exactly what I'm doing. But I think in a general sense, I think a lot of people are always going to lean towards those teams. So
okay. So very quickly, we're gonna go over some draft stuff that's at pretty good value. First things first, you got the Jaguars picking at number 1. A team that couldn't protect Trevor Lawrence at all. So a lot of people are saying Aiden Hutchinson. Right now, Aiden Hutchinson is at +105. I like Evan Neal at +275, the Alabama left tackle that played great against Georgia. 6'7", 330. Built, can move, been really good. So that could be the anchor that Trevor Lawrence has for the next 10 years because their left tackle right now, Mr. Robin, I don't think it's Greg Robinson, something like that, is likely to leave. Or another beautiful little nugget could be Kenny Pickett at number 1 overall. Of course, it wouldn't be to Jacksonville, but you have teams in an owner of the Panthers that could be bullish. I think Kenny Pickett's going to be the quarterback that the Joe Burrow that just comes in, the Mac Jones that just comes in and steals the show that we're all going to be talking about. I think that's Kenny.
You don't think they go for Sam Howell?
I do not. I think Kenny Pickett is going to be the guy that everyone falls for because Sam Howell has that unfortunate Baker thing to him because he's undersized. He is kind of like a raw guy in the sense, but Kenny Pickett just seems, I don't know, just eye test. Kenny Pickett just seems like the best quarterback, but that's at +3,000. And then you also have someone like the Texans that can go up just 2 spots to go get a quarterback in the future in Kenny Pickett. So that being at +3,000 is awesome. My favorite one of all, though, is going to be +165 for no running backs get taken in the first round. You had one running back last.
By the way,
it's on Bovada.
Okay.
You had one running back taken last year, and it was Najee Harris, and no running back this year is even close to Najee Harris' status. We are, and then, well, there's Kenneth Walker, but he's nowhere near Najee Harris' status at all. But even if you want to disagree, that's fine. That's beautiful. If you look at any of the teams where a running back would go in the back end, none of them need a running back. So that's where also my thought process comes into that. So you have every team in the playoffs has their running back, and any team that decides to miss playoffs and draft a running back, you're a fucking idiot. So, or Kenneth Walker, who would be the only guy. So, yeah, that's at plus 165. So that's probably my favorite one
Who
for
do
sure.
you? And I'm usually very novice when it comes to the draft. And I will say for anyone listening, Miles murdered it last year. Do you like the Michigan dude or the Oregon guy more?
100%. Aiden Hutchinson. We're going to use big boy names.
Okay.
Aiden Hutchinson, just because I think come combine time, this guy's 6'6", 265. Come combine time, he is going to drop a lot of jaws.
Yeah.
He played over 800 snaps. The beautiful thing about Aiden Hutchinson,
the big games too.
he played in the big games, and then Aiden Hutchinson also has that rah thing to him, like he's like leader, blah blah blah.
More like a TJ Watt type guy.
Very, very much.
So you don't see him going to the Jags then?
Right. No. Or it's not necessarily Jags. Right. I mean, that's all. If I could tell you what it was this time last year, what the draft was, it just doesn't make sense for. I mean, you can go Aiden Hutchinson, like he'll be a culture change for sure, but Trevor Lawrence is still be getting his ass beat every single week. There's nothing changed.
Do you think he would be more best available rather than team fit? Aiden Hutchinson.
Team need would be Evan Neal. If they stay there, team need would be better? Evan Neal. I mean, it'd be Hutchinson. Hutchinson is the.
Yeah. I definitely see.
Change.
I see the value with what you're saying, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But also keep in mind what I am saying is yes, the value play, because Aiden Hutchinson right now is at plus 105.
Right.
But you can get plus 275 if you think that the Jaguars fall in love with a left tackle that can protect their asset for the next 10 years.
And definitely something that they were struggling with this season.
100%.
Keeping Trevor Lawrence, giving him time.
Giving him time to do anything. And then, like I said, I think out of all of them, though, there being no running backs taken, and I know Frost might be in love with Kenneth Walker, but at the point in time which is mostly in the back end, where a running back should get taken,
I think you're probably looking maybe mid second is when you kind of see the running back for this year at least. Like
for
you
this
said,
year, yeah.
Like you said, I don't think the talent level's up to what Najee was.
Mm-mm.
And even then, you saw the value that teams got in the second or third picking up the running backs this last draft. I think teams are going to start to. You don't see another I hate to say it, you don't see a Saquon Barkley situation happen again.
Right.
What about a Buffalo Bills type situation?
So and that's what I was gonna say. You have 21 to 32, right? And it's the Steelers, no. Patriots, no. 49ers, no. Raiders, Cardinals, Bengals, no. Bills, who have no running back, and so you kind of scratch your head there. That could be it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd be the only team that I could think of off the top of my head.
That would be the only team, I think. But I mean, I like my odds there. I got 20 teams out of 30.
What are the odds to not pick a plus what?
Odds for there to be a running back is minus 240. So, wait, what?
What is it not to have a running back?
Plus 165.
Okay.
And for someone to draft a running back is minus 240.
Yeah, I think it would be coin flip for the Bills at that point. So maybe, the value would be to not go running back. And then kind of what you were saying with the Najee Harris type.
Kenneth Walker is good, but I mean, he's a 5'11", very much just runner only.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's a receiving type guy. I'm not 100% sure though, but yeah,
doesn't look like he was. It looked like he was he only got 13 receptions all year.
Yeah. That's not a first round running back. Najee was catching everything out of the backfield and whatnot. So
he wouldn't be like an all around back type situation in my eyes.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
That's what all good running backs are. So
and I think that's definitely going to change come at the end of the year, that 165, that's going to go down.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree. I can get behind something like that for sure.
So I'd get it now.
I just want an offensive tackle this year. That's all I want.
Right, and I think that's where a team like the Bills, even like they're just gonna. If you really look at what the past Bills have done, they've always been a team that has gotten a value. So they've gotten their edge defender. They didn't need Randy Gregory really last year, but they got it. And they'll get a guard. They'll get a value pick at that 26 spot. I don't think they'll go running back. So. That's pretty much all I have. That's all I really see that I'm like really bullish on. Yeah.
You think the Bengals go for Kenyon Green?
I mean, if we can definitely match up eye to eye, I mean, we're never going to trade up for sure, but Kenyon Green is going to be the guy that we would probably see fit because of his versatility.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And there is an interesting one. Frost plus 250 for Mason Rudolph to be the starting quarterback next year. But I mean, that's something you were.
I don't want to take
Rodgers at.
Rodgers at plus 750.
No, give me the plus 750. I'll take
Rodgers
that all day.
Has more value in my head.
Maybe, but maybe not. I still think
I'd be kind of scared rolling out Mason Rudolph as my quarterback, but.
And then
I think the Steelers may try to go up in the draft this year, try to get Matt Corral.
There's another one.
I don't know if he's like franchise ready yet, though.
Mm.
But yeah,
that's what they have Mason Rudolph for. Mason Rudolph can get all the concussions this year.
I think there is something like, this was when y'all were not doing.
Yeah, not making the playoffs.
Yeah, never mind. But who knows?
That'll be nuts to see what the Eagles do since they have 3 first-round draft picks this year.
There's it's minus 10,000.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why it's minus 10,000 that the. Oh, never mind. I read that wrong.
What is it?
It was. I thought it said Broncos won't have a coach, but it's Vic Fangio. I just read it wrong.
Oh.
Plus 700 for Russell Wilson in Denver.
I feel as if Rodgers fits better with the Steelers. Sorry.
I think honestly he probably stays with the Packers. Unfortunately, but
I could see that as well.
I think he. I don't think he cares. I think he knows he dominates that division, and it's in such disarray.
Well, that's the scary thing about going to Denver is that you have to play the Chargers and the Raiders now, and then you have to play the Chiefs, and like Rodgers has just been so comfortable with winning that division easily. Yeah, and that's kind of been a success with Brady his whole career.
Yeah, that's what he did. He won his division.
He's had the Dolphins and teams like that, and
I do have one more. Eric Bieniemy, to get a head coaching job for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think what they'll see though is for Bieniemy what he was able to do with Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. They might just say tit for tat. Can you do that here?
What about Kellen Moore?
All right.
No, I'm serious.
To the Jacksonville?
Yeah.
He has an interview request, I believe.
I mean, he's at plus 1,200. So, I mean, if you like that, you can take it.
Bill O'Brien is the leader right now. Him and Byron. Oh God, if my team
they're going to go with I think Jacksonville goes with a head coach that has experience.
I can see Byron Leftwich for sure. Didn't he play for the Jags too?
Yeah. So who knows if that would be something they're really interested in. But I look at all those coaches and Eric Bieniemy, he's been the guy that has been.
I think there's value at plus 500.
I'd like to see him at the Bears. I think he'd do great at the Bears.
Brian Flores looks like. I mean, I like Brian. The Brian Flores fit for the Bears. I think that's.
I 100% agree.
Crazy
with
great.
But then again, is Brian Flores going to want to take that, being that that's not the QB he chose or anything like that? Like, it's the same situation in Miami. Like,
Yeah,
when
but
he was there,
he's
he
a lot better
didn't
than
want
Tua.
Tua. Does he want Justin Fields? Like, that's the issue.
I think another
Maybe.
thing with the Bears, though, is that they're more of like a defensive-minded team, and I think that fits well with.
I think
what
that's
they're
what the
looking
Bears
for.
are going to be looking to get away from.
Maybe, but I also
Especially
think
if they picked up Justin Fields.
I think that Brian Flores is a good coach, though.
Oh yeah, he's an amazing coach. That's not the issue. It's Brian Flores. The only issue that a lot of people are talking about with him was
or Brian Flores plus 1,000 for the Denver Broncos.
I guess
they looking at.
Well, if Denver Broncos want to get Aaron Rodgers, they're going to ask him to say, "Hey, what?"
Oh, weren't
what
they
else?
interviewing the like offensive coordinator of the Packers?
Oh, the
or
Bills.
Something like that?
Oh yeah, the Packers. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But okay,
Trying to
that's
see.
all I had for sure. There's gonna be more draft stuff when draft comes. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I think
We'll ramp it up.
I'm definitely
Well,
down
we-
to just have Miles sitting here for 2 hours and get a little.
It's gonna be fun though.
We can watch some highlight videos, Mills.
I'll just watch
Yeah.
it on Twitch.
Let's hopefully we have good wild card weekend. Hopefully, 2 out of the 3 teams on this panel win. And we can all be happy. 2 out of 3 of us can be happy next week. For sure, at least the Bengals.
I'm getting RF racism vibes.
What?
I don't know what the correct word would be.
Come on.
RFism. I'm getting RFism.
Maybe.
RFism.
Yeah.
But thank you for tuning in.
Oh wait, what are our locks?
Oh, my lock was
Eagles.
Yeah, I'll go. Wait, no, Frost went Buccaneers though, right?
No, I did not.
Yeah, I'll take Eagles plus 8.5. I'll take that as my lock.
Mine's Bills.
I'm gonna take the Cards at plus 4.
I like
that.
Is
my lock.
Okay. I don't know if I can get behind Miles's, but
I'm just not betting. I'm not betting on any one of your guys' teams, so I don't curse it or anything like that. Unlike you, Al, who decides to bet on my team and somehow win stuff.
You're the only one that I can help.
Yeah. Just go ahead. Put
Miles,
the Steelers plus 12.
I have my plus 850 on Bengals, and oh man, Miles,
you're a bitch.
Take me to the promised land of death.
You taking Cincy then?
Yeah.
What's our record right now?
For your lock?
No. My lock was Bills.
Oh, Bills. What's our record right now? Since we went 2-1 because your stupid ass Chargers bet.
Dude, they should have won though.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. I thought we went 3-0.
Dude, I almost won big money last week. And I killed it for futures. Oh my god, I went like 10-1. We are 31-18, which I think that's so like good. 60. That's really good.
That is good.
That's profitable. So next year I'm just gonna take whatever we do, and that's it.
Just do the individual bets or whatever, so we don't have to lump them all into one.
But yeah, I think we're now like 5 weeks in a row where our podcast was 2-1. We still haven't hit the fucking parlay.
Last freaking 5 weeks.
I screwed us with the Cardinals, and then I screwed us with the Chargers.
And
Cardinals
lost against the Orange team because I hate my team.
And
Come on, guys. We're over that.
The Chargers should have won, though. But
we're a new team.
Okay.
We're new.
You're reborn.
But yeah, thanks for watching the pod. That's everything. See you guys next week. Hopefully, Bengals win. All I really give a shit about. See you guys.
All right.
Keen.